Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas holds the keys right now to the welterweight division. He got the keys. He got the keys to the welterweight division right now, Yordenis Ugas. And just like I said before at the beginning of this live, the dudes right now that hold the keys aren't necessarily the most popular or the best dudes or none of that. Yordenis Ugas holds the keys to the welterweight division because you have Errol Spence right now with 2 belts. You got Terrence who has that WBO belt. Okay, and Yordenis Ugas got that WBA. Now here's the thing. We don't know whether or not he's going to keep that WBA because Pacquiao is, I guess, petitioning the WBA in order to get the belt back. So he can kind of set up this fight with Crawford, which I hope happens. But to me, in all likelihood, I don't see that petition working out in Pacquiao's favor. Ugas got the keys right now. Ugas got the keys. I mean, obviously right now, Ugas's biggest decision, Ugas's probably most lucrative fight is again going to be against Errol Spence. That's going to be his most lucrative fight. But even though that's his most lucrative fight, I don't necessarily think Ugas should take that fight. I don't necessarily think he should take that fight. If I was Ugas, I would go after Keith Thurman. If I was Ugas, I would go after Keith Thurman. Here's the thing, man. A lot of these dudes, they're trying to blackball Keith Thurman. But let's look at what a Keith Thurman fight would do for any of these dudes. First of all, we know that Keith Thurman's a big name because he did decent numbers versus Pacquiao. I'm not going to call none of these dudes' numbers big numbers, but he did decent numbers versus Pacquiao. 400,000 or 500,000 pay-per-view buys, not bad. Okay. We know Keith Thurman has a history of, going on free TV and doing really good numbers on free TV. So, in addition to the money, because you're going to get pretty good money, Keith also brings that credibility into the equation. And yes, I do think that Keith would be Ugas. But if I have to pick between Keith Thurman and Errol Spence, if I got to pick between Keith Thurman and Errol Spence, if I'm Yordenis Ugas, I'm probably going to go with Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman has been off. He's been off for 2 years. He hasn't fought since Pacquiao. So clearly it's going to be a whole lot of ring rust on him. Keith is coming off injuries. You know what I'm saying? He just got married. There's a lot going on. There's a little more leverage in Ugas's favor in order to get that win rather than against Errol Spence, who just came off a good win versus Danny Garcia where he beat the brakes off Danny Garcia. Earl has those belts, but that would be a bigger win for him to beat Earl. But if I'm Ugas, I'm like, well, it may be an easier fight, or it may be a better route for me to go ahead and go after Keith, see if I can beat Keith. If I can beat Keith, then go after Earl. That makes a little bit more sense to me. Keith Thurman will get gas paid if he wins. Tommy De Jesus says Ugas. Light Lit It Up says Thurman Ugas would be a good fight, but not after Thurman's 2-year layoff. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Light Lit It Up. If I'm Ugas and I'm trying to decide who to fight between Earl and Keith Thurman, and I'm looking at Keith Thurman and I'm seeing he just got off a 2-year layoff. Okay, he just got off a 2-year layoff, injuries, a marriage. He got a lot of shit going on. But in addition to that, he also brings money to the table. Keith Thurman has done big numbers. This is probably a fight that could go on PBC and do pretty decent numbers. Actually, Pay-per-view might be a little much. Pay-per-view might be a little much. But even for Errol, it would be a little much to put Ugas in on pay-per-view with either Ugas or Errol. But if I'm Ugas, I can probably get the same payday, but I'm getting a vulnerable fighter who I have a better chance of beating. Because to me, Errol's style is all wrong for Yordenis Ugas, man. Errol's style is all wrong for Yordenis Ugas. All wrong for him. Errol beats the break off Yordenis. He beats the break off Yordenis Ugas. He beats Yordenis Ugas light skin. He beats the tar out of Yordenis Ugas, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to diminish Yordenis Ugas, but it's a bad stylistic matchup. It's a bad stylistic matchup. Tommy DeJesus says, Ugas better be paid. He's not winning Keith or Spence. I don't think so either. I don't think he's beat either of those guys. But he has a better chance of beating Keith than Errol. He's not beating Errol. His style is all wrong for Errol. Errol's going to be cutting off that ring. Errol's going to be digging to the body. Errol is going to be hurting Ugas. Errol's going to be hurting Ugas. But if I'm Ugas, man, I'm gambling. I'm going after Keith. That's a closer fight, in my opinion. If I can get past Keith Thurman, I still have that Errol Spence fight waiting for me right after that. That's what I'm thinking about if I'm Yordenis Ugas. That's what I'm thinking about. You know what I'm saying? All day. All day. You know? And at the same time, it's still two very good fights happening. Keys. Because he can fight Keith or he can fight Errol. And whatever he decides to do, it changes the entire boxing landscape. It changes everything. Ugas is tailor-made for Spence, says Tommy DeJesus. You're absolutely right. I see the ass whooping coming, Tommy. I see the ass whooping coming. It's gonna be a vicious ass whooping if Yordenis gets in there with Errol Spence. That style is all wrong for him. All wrong for him. You know what I'm saying? It's a good fight. It's a tough fight. It's not a dog walk by Errol, but Errol beats the brakes off of him.